as our spiritual ancestors began their services with the sound of bell towers downtown, so we too begin in the spirit of love and justice in song. Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester, here in our temporary home at Our Savior's Lutheran, as we move toward breaking ground real soon on our new church across the street, across the intersection in the coming months. We are a large tent tradition with a shared belief that wisdom speaks from many teachers and traditions, ancient and modern, that many spiritual practices help us lead lives of meaning, justice, and love. Your faith, your doubts, your questions, your hopes, believers in God and mystery, nature and love, queer and trans folks, immigrants and refugees, all of who we are and who we are becoming are held here as sacred. Welcome to visitors, newcomers, those online as well. We're glad you're here. There's a nursery open for young ones and activities for kids following the time for all ages. After service, you can join us right next door in the fellowship hall for refreshments and conversation. Today's offering, you can read about in your order of service, goes to support Hawthorne Helps, rooted in our congregation and supporting individuals and families through the Hawthorne Education Center. All the plate today goes to their work. Other donations are being accepted in the blue bin out in the lobby throughout the summer. In your order of service, find upcoming events as well and ways to connect. And in the coming weeks, we'll have sign-up Sundays, as we often do, for fall groups and events to learn more. And a final announcement, some of you may have noticed on your way to church or in the last few days, new piles of dirt showing up at the intersection at Eliza Place across the street there. So that is a good thing. Things are happening. And join us today after service here in the sanctuary for an overview update about designs, budget, timeline, and save the date. This is the one time I'll say, get out your phone during church, put it in your calendar, September 13th for our ceremonial groundbreaking following our morning annual water communion service here. We'll have a ceremonial groundbreaking at Eliza Place, details forthcoming on how that all is going to work, but it is an exciting threshold, and we hope you can join us September 13th. So I invite you to take a breath as we enter our time of worship with these words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. In just a moment, our opening hymn, number 66, in the gray hymnal will call us back, and we're grateful today for our musician emerita, Connie Schulke, providing music for us. Thank you, Connie. And before we sing, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you.
Summer Warmth, reading by Helen Cohen. We stand at the edge of summer. The sun has at last warmed us enough that we begin to trust in its presence. The last burst of spring blossoms, lavender and white and deep pink banks of rhododendron, are giving way to summer peonies and roses. O source of turning seasons, of earth, of life, of promise gradually becoming fulfillment, may your people find a lightening of the burdens with a brightening of the sky.
In gratitude, we'll receive the offering. want to invite the children up here forward. I get to tell you a story today, so my condolences to you. But come find a spot on the floor somewhere. You can either find a spot, you can lie down, you can sit crisscross applesauce so that you can see the screen, or if you're a little old-timey like me, I will show you the actual paper of the book too, so you can watch that. But I'm going to do it in a way that maybe you often don't see adults in public spaces do it. I needed a little pad for this though, because I'm going to lie down backwards so that you can see it this way. And the reason I want to do that is because I don't know about you, but I bet for a lot of you, it's pretty rare that in the middle of a day, other than maybe going to bed, you just sit or be and pause and not do something. And when I find, at least for myself, when I actually just like lie down on the floor, especially in a public space in front of a lot of people, like it just changes my whole mindset, and I notice things differently, and my head kind of feels funny, but it's fine. So here's the book, Wonder Walkers by Mika Archer. Because when I'm down here, I kind of wonder differently. It says Wonder Walk? Sure. Is the sun the world's light bulb? Is fog the river's blanket? Do mountains have bones? Are forests the mountain's fur? I wonder. Me too. Are trees the sky's legs? And are branches trees' arms? Is dirt the world's skin? And are roots the plant's toes? Do caves have mouths? Are shells the shore's necklace? Is the ocean the world's bath? Are rivers the earth's veins? Is the wind the world breathing? Is rain the day's tears? Is the moon the world's nightlight? I wonder. Me too. So we're going to try to get up. Turn around. And I invite you to find moments in your day where you can just pause and wonder and ask big, impossible questions that probably don't have any right one answer. And that's what our whole religion is about. So Amy's going to now take better care of you than I possibly can, and go to activities, and we're going to sing the children's benediction, which is on the back inside cover of your hymnal. You can remain seated as we sing.
Each time we gather, we take time to honor the joys and sorrows of our lives, all the good, bad, messy things of life that are better held together. We do this because we believe each person here matters, and that community helps us hold the beauty and brokenness of this world. We send gratitude to Beth Plumhoff, serving as our caring coordinator, arranging care for our members and friends in need for the last 2 weeks. Cynthia Dalby will take over tomorrow for the next 2, and we thank her for that. The members of our caring committee are wonderful examples of our compassionate community, holding us up as we go through challenging and happy times. Life can be challenging. We could all use some extra support with what life throws at us. And if you are experiencing those challenges in your life, we encourage you to reach out for support and help. If you need additional care or personal pastoral care, please reach out to Reverend Luke with that request. In this beloved community, we pause together in sorrow, gratitude, hope, and care, remembering that no one walks alone. Today, we hold Dottie Johnson and her family in our hearts as they grieve the passing of her brother, Dr. Calvin Thomas Meineke, who died of natural causes at his home in Palos Park on August 6th at the age of 77. Cal was a remarkable physician and humanitarian who devoted his life to caring for others. He believed deeply in compassionate, accessible health care and brought wisdom, kindness, and genuine care to generations of patients. May Dottie and all who loved him find comfort in the memories they shared and in the many lives he touched. Cards of support and well wishes are welcome for all. The list that is compiled weekly contains several members and friends of the church who are experiencing sadness or celebration and is posted in the entryway of the church and through a link in your e-news. We provide cards and postage and welcome you to leave those cards near the basket for mailing. Here, our service to each other and to the wider world is our focus. May the faith in the spirit of life, love for the community of earth, and love for the light in each other be ours now and in all the days to come.
I invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment, this breath. You yourself made of earth and stars. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, God and Gaia of 1,000 names and beyond all naming. Whether we call them the dog days leaning toward fall or the summer haze, where we know on the other side is a whole host of possibilities. Maybe dread or trepidation at a new threshold, maybe relief at a return to typical schedules, maybe excitement for reconnection or grief at a quiet house, or somewhere in between and a mix of it all. In this season about to change, help us find our grounding. Those places or people or practices that can hold us, good friends, good food, fresh air, be they found in the notes that lift off a page, or in the words that are held between bookends, or the way that leaves shudder a bit in the change of the air. Help us lean into that which holds us amidst the winds of change. I invite you to bring the names that you're holding this day in joy or sorrow, celebration or concern, and silently or aloud now in this time to speak their names. For the names spoken and unspoken, may we be held in love and grace. These words of meditation come from Martha Postlewaite, entitled Clearing. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands and you can recognize it and you can greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue. May that be so. Amen. The hymn is Winds Be Still, number 83 in your gray hymnal. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing.
Three Songs at the End of Summer by Jane Kenyon. 1, a second crop of hay lies cut and turned. 5 gleaming crows search and peck between the rows. They make a low, companionable squawk, and like midwives and undertakers possess a weird authority. Crickets leap from the stubble, parting before me like the Red Sea. The garden sprawls and spoils. Across the lake, the campers have learned to water ski. They have or they haven't. pleated skirts, water, silver still, and a V of geese. 2, the cicadas, dry monotony breaks over me. The days are bright and free, bright and free. Then why did I cry today for an hour with my whole body the way babies cry? 3, a white, indifferent morning sky, and a crow hectoring from its nest high in the hemlock, a nest as big as a laundry basket. In my childhood, I stood under a dripping oak while autumnal fog eddied around my feet, waiting for the school bus with a dread that took my breath away. The damp dirt road gave off the same complex organic scent. I had new books, words, numbers, and operations with numbers I did not comprehend, and crayons unspoiled by use, and in a blue canvas satchel with red leather straps. Spruce, inadequate, and alien, I stood at the side of the road. It was the only life I had.
In March, I thought it was September. Not weather-wise, really, but the moving out of our last building and the moving into this temporary building felt like the threshold of the fall, like a new program year. And it wasn't just a one-day calendar glitch in my mind, it was a continuing sense for several days, actually probably several weeks, probably till summer, really. I had no idea what month it was, where we were in the program year, until my church soul could recalibrate a little bit to summer, which we returned to one service, which we do all the time now anyway, so that didn't help either. And sometimes we're attuned to the natural seasons around us. They help remind us, sometimes intensely, of changes in the wind or the air or atmosphere. And sometimes we're attuned to different seasons of the heart, of shared communal life. Like when piles of dirt arrive on Eliza Place, I'm thinking, this must be Christmas, apparently now, because these are just little gifts of hope that appeared after years of imagining and planning and fundraising, and then there they are, small piles of hope, ready to prepare the ground for generations of community to come. Just in time for us to gather, and then the ground to shift beneath us into something still unknown, still being created, something that lives lightly on the land, just enough to shelter us with beauty and love. There are those moments where something happens and starts a whole new calendar unexpectedly, where something comes to an end and then something else begins. And if we're honest, we are living at different moments of a collision of different calendars all the time, of climate, of community, of justice, of the soul. As the poet writes, autumnal fog eddied right around my feet, waiting for the school bus with a dread that took my breath away. When have you been at those thresholds where the fog, the haziness gathered around you, your soul, your mind, your body took your breath away? Maybe with a little dread, maybe with an energizing, animating hope. Whatever it is, you enter into some level of the unknown. You can start singing Frozen there if you want. Into the unknown, uncertainty. Those things, though you've planned and prepared, and you've gathered all the best insight or plans or resources you can, the poet says it too. I had the new books. I had the words and the numbers and the operations with numbers that I did not comprehend, because still each day is a bit of a gamble. No matter the books or the words or the numbers, a moving toward any number of things can stop us dead in our tracks, take hold of our attention, be it dreadful or beautiful, and almost always both. But hopefully, we also have, as the poet writes, crayons, unspoiled by use, in our blue canvas satchel with the red leather straps. So the question the poet invites us to consider is this: when you are at the threshold, those hazy, fog-feeling moments when you're not exactly sure which season you're in, what calendar you're tracking, these collision of calendars, what tools for color and creativity do you have? What do you have at the ready in your satchel? What have you made sure, not knowing what you might need, to have along with you, at least in the heart? How do you make space for wonder amidst the fog? I wonder, the book reminds us. So just this past week, some of you know I was traveling on pilgrimage with our youth in Boston, Concord area, and we stopped, as we always do, near Walden Pond, a place that invites us to simplify. Years ago, my wife Jenna and I went there unaware of the park hours, and we arrived a half hour before it was closing. So we jogged around Walden Woods, deliberately, intentionally, as advised, but also as fast as we could around this sacred site that served as a reminder, as Thoreau said, why should we live our life in such a hurry and waste of life? And I was like, I don't know, why don't you ask the Massachusetts Department of Natural Resources? Why'd they close it so early? Why didn't I know that ahead of time? But we hurried around the pond, and perhaps that's a reminder of how our society can still make it hard to slow down in mind, body, or heart. The incessant updates and connections, the oppressive systems that hold our worth in levels of currency are all around us. But just this past week, it was a gift to have a little time where I finally convinced my overactive mind, just shut up. Just shut up. All the things I was thinking about or holding on to or couldn't get out of my head. So I airplane moded my phone, which I've started putting my phone on soul mode, shutting it off. Side note, my father for his birthday recently downgraded his phone. That's what he wanted for his birthday. It's like, I don't want the touch screen, I want the flip phone, I'm going back in time. So you see why I'm wired this way as well. So I put updates, notifications back in their proper place, which is later, and I sat on the stone wall by a dear young pilgrim next to me, and we took a few moments just looking at the clouds. It reminded me how many hours I spent doing that as a child. In the park or in the yard, or especially on long car trips across the country, looking up into the sky for wispy and ever-changing images and stories. It took the slowing down to remember that was a tool I had in my soul satchel. I had forgotten I was able to do that, to pause and wonder and look at something that wasn't electronic or wasn't grabbing my attention for a meeting or an agenda. And we imagined and saw things. Even as the world can seem on the surface bright and teeming with life, sometimes we move right past it. Sometimes we have a lot of feelings that we want to hold, and we need spaces for wonder to help us hold it all, to process it, to express it. If you're wondering, we saw an image of Lake Superior, we saw an odd-shaped potato, we saw a variety of things in the clouds. And the poet's words came back to me. The cicada's dry monotony breaks over me. The days are bright and free, bright and free. So then why, she writes, did I cry today for an hour with my whole body the way babies do? It can be like that too in these hazy days. Bright skies outside, but something else within. Even more important then, to create space to let all of that feeling, all of that take shape in us in different modes. So I'm going to invite you into a practice, whether it's from a place of gratitude or grief or someplace in between, but we're going to take a moment here so that I don't tell you this is how you make space in your life, go do it, and you're already overscheduled Sunday or week or whatever. We'll make a little space here together today. Nearby or scattered around are some coloring utensils. So you get to do what the kids do when they go out. So pass those around, grab some writing, coloring utensil, and then in your order of service, you may have already noticed, is an open blank chalice. I'll give you some instructions. We'll let the crayon shuffle go here. I think there's also colored pencils. So pass them around, grab something or something that you've brought with you. So we're going to take a couple minutes. There's a little space for wonder for you. And here's your invitation. As any good educator knows, there's no one right way to fill in a blank space. Maybe you want to write words of gratitude, something that you've noticed today that you're just grateful for. Maybe you want to write names of beloveds, people that nourish you, give you support, hope. Maybe you want to sketch an image or something you've seen. Maybe it's something out in nature. Maybe it's something that you've seen in this space, something that you remember from a place that's far away, some image, some object, some piece of nature, some words. I'm going to ring the singing bowl, and we're going to do this in a moderated silence. We won't provide any other noise to hold the space, and I do that intentionally as well. Years ago, I spent time in a United Methodist church in South Minneapolis that held 5 full minutes of silence every week as part of their service. And I also spent time with the Quakers, who, as many of you know, their main holding of their worship time is silence. And sometimes the critique would come back like, how do you hold that much silence? What do you do with all that silence? And often a response in some form would be, I'm not sure, but what do you do with all that noise? We fill it so much with noise. So for this time and space, whether you just need to fidget with the crayons or grab one of the activity bags or keep folding your order of service, whatever you need to do to help ground your soul in this space. I'll ring the singing bowl. We'll just take a few minutes of silence for you to fill in whatever you need to fill in there, or keep it open. And then I'll call us back with the singing bowl when it's time to gather again. Is coloring what you came to church today for? I wonder. So bring those home with you, or continue them in fellowship time. Mostly think about, how do you create space for wonder in your own life? That it's just as important as the other things filling up your calendar. So even as the summer is ending and school supplies are running out at the stores, and teachers and families are preparing however they need to prepare for impact this week, the garden sprawls and spoils, says the poet, where the big season of growth and abundance is now tending toward simplicity, to be rid of excess and those things we no longer need, to go simple, to consider in our calendaring or whatever our household is holding, to make space for beauty, without it becoming another source of obligation or stress. The poet says across the lake the campers have learned to water ski, or they haven't. The instructor's megaphone yelling, "Relax, relax." Yes, you should relax, but in ways that don't feel like a megaphone through the hazy air. So keep by you close a satchel of crayons. Put your phone on soul mode so that when the fog comes at unpredicted times, you have the space prepared for wonder. So whether this is the blessing you need today or not, I know I do. In that spirit, we'll sing a song we rarely sing together on Sunday mornings, but one that is like a lullaby for the soul, to calm and simplify, to find calm and solace in the corner of whatever calendar you're in, to find shelter and peace. We'll sing verses 1 and 3 of hymn number 409, Sleep, My Child. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing. I invite you, as you're comfortable, place a hand on your heart toward the sky or earth in gratitude. May you be cloaked and covered in wonder and blessing. Whatever nourishment you are needing, whatever haze you are facing, may you find your way with the tools of justice and love that are not only your own, but all of the satchels of dear beloveds around you, bringing their tools to the making of a better world. May that be so, and amen.